welcome to another edition of Thoughts the Roundtable with me, Matt Rebar.
And me, Paul Laux.
And it's been a little bit of a minute, and let's start right at the top. We got to talk about this. Your cat got diagnosed with diabetes?
Yeah.
Tell me all about this.
It's been grand. Oh, so yeah, we just noticed she was being a little lethargic, and then she had, a little bit of hair loss. We go in there and say, yeah, well, she used to be a pretty fat cat, and she lost some weight, and we thought we finally got her, because we've been trying to, fix her diet and get her skinny. And so then we go and they're like, no, she's just diabetic. So that was a hoot and a half. So now I have to buy insulin and syringes, and I have to give my cat a shot of insulin twice a day. And if you've ever tried to do that, it's fantastic. It's a hoot. And so it's just amazing how they literally just give you syringes, and they're like, here you go, here's 100, give your cat shots every day, twice a day for the rest of their lives. And so it's gonna be a long haul. So but
what's the cat's like attitude about it? Like
truthfully, because you kind of give her the shot in kind of like the scruff shoulder area. So she doesn't really care all that much.
Okay.
But she'll flinch. And my cat has claws, and you feel bad. You don't want to give her shots twice a day. I mean, who does that? Who wants to do that? But so that's been my life for the past week, trying to figure out how to do that. I've never done anything in medical field unless I'm like, here's shots, give your cat shots every day. So it's man, I swear to God, like once I get everything sorted in my life, it's just something new comes along every freaking time, man. It's just so exhausting after a while. It really, really is. Want to hear this is just a side note of another thing that went on this week. I'm just going to kind of go on a rant because
please.
And I don't know if you've ever been this way. It's like if it feels like you finally get things sorted and together, and then just life's just like, hey, your cat has diabetes, like literally just all the stupid stuff. And so I always look around for interesting jobs and apply to some. And I applied to this one. It literally, like, it was the worst application ever. You got to put in a resume and then enter your resume and then enter it again. But then at the end of this, like an hour-long process, I had to take a freaking math test. It was the stupidest
math test.
Math test. Mind you, this job has no math required in it. I don't know why.
Oh my God.
It was like 60 questions. It was like a math final. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. So yeah, that's pretty much how my life has been going the past week. Are you the same, or is it just me, or does it just feel like that? Like you finally get things sorted and everything just kind of goes haywire?
I feel like I'm constantly playing catch up. And when I do finish something, it takes like 2-3 weeks and we're back to square one. That's kind of how I feel. I feel like, I don't know. I just like today, like I cleaned a little bit of my kitchen, but give it like 5 days and it'll be back to square one. And it's just like, I feel like everything's like that. Like you try and
never get ahead of anything.
No. And it's like almost like you have to surrender to the chaos a little bit.
You kind of do, honestly. You just kind of have to realize it's like, all right, something's going to go crazy or whatever. And we got, this apparently we decided to have a typhoon tonight in December. So that's fun.
I've been feeling like, honestly, like I've been feeling quite just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like burnt out lately.
Me too.
I think for a while, like the candle was like actually losing like a lot of wax, and like I was becoming the stub candle. And now I feel like the candle's not necessarily losing wax, but I'm not like gaining wax. Does that make sense?
You never gain wax.
Well, you in this metaphorical burnt out, like I feel like I've been recovering in the sense that I'm not like losing. It's almost like you have a wound and you're bleeding, and I've stopped the bleeding, but the wound is still
it's still there. It's still so the minute you take off pressure, it just starts bleeding again.
Yeah, I don't know. It just is.
That's a better one. I like that metaphor.
It's very weird, and I don't know. Like today, I didn't do too much of anything, and I still feel tired and exhausted. And like I can't imagine, like
because your body's got to catch up too. I mean, realistically, and
I feel like it's like that for sure, right?
And
like
your schedule is nuts.
Well, my September and October was, I don't even know how I got through it, and I feel like November was kind of half bad. But still, it just like even now, like it's 7:22. I've been up for like I've been up since 11 and did like 3 things and I'm exhausted. It's like, what is that? Like, is that age? Is that capitalism? Is that just like
Oh, mind
catching
you,
up?
so I learned this today too. I mean, I
Hmm.
have a toddler, so it doesn't really matter. But since I have to give my cat insulin twice a day, one at 8 a.m. and 8, that means I can never sleep in past 8 a.m. like ever again.
Oh my gosh.
I don't though.
That's hard. I'm sorry. That's hard.
Yeah, it's whatever. Anyways, so I hear you have an interesting Reddit thread for us. I want to get into
Well, I don't know if you have noticed, and I think you said you didn't, but there's this new really popular Reddit thread called anti-work. And it came around, I think recently. I think it's a new thread. And it has
this.
about
You're talking about a subreddit, right?
yes, it's a subreddit thread. It has about 1.2 million people on this thread.
Dang, that's big.
And it's a subreddit. It's called a subreddit for those who want to end work, are curious about ending work, want to get the most out of a work-free life, want more information on anti-work ideas, and want personal help with their own jobs or work.
Is this like
struggles.
a van life page?
No, it's more like, I will say the biggest thing talks more about that. I don't think that's a really good description. A lot of the posts seem to kind of gravitate towards like horror stories in the workplace, or like people kind of like waking up to like, oh, for years I thought I was in a good position. Now I realize that like I'm not. So it's really fascinating. Like, so a great example that I thought was so crazy, a 19-year-old kid who works at a gas station. He was on his break and he grabbed like an Arizona tea, got in line to pay for the tea, opened the tea and was sipping on it, and then paid for the tea, and then got fired for doing that. Because apparently it's against company policy for employees to like begin to eat snacks before they pay for them. Even though, like, how many times, Paul, have you gone to like a Shell gas station to get like a Diet Coke from the fountain and you drink it in line? Like, it's just so ridiculous.
Or you get a water bottle and you crack the water bottle before you pay. I do that all the time.
And then there was another story that I thought was really interesting too. It talked about how this guy, he manages 12 people, and I guess they all do like the same thing. So maybe it's like, let's just say 12 people who like sell cars or whatever. And basically he ended up with 6, and they refused to fire 6 more people. And so he put his foot down. He made sure everyone met their personal objectives, but when the department didn't meet its objectives, he was like, well, middle management didn't want to hire anyone, and middle management people got fired simply for not wanting to fill, thinking, oh,
that
well,
never
if we
happens.
put pressure.
I feel like that never happens.
I know. I feel like that never happens, but like, I was like, what a great story of like, do justice. Cause like, how many times have you heard like, oh, there was 12 and now there's like 6 of us doing the work of 12. And like,
that's literally me at the moment.
I feel like that's a lot of people. I mean, who listening can't say that, if they're in a salaried position, especially, that they're being taken for a ride right now. So anywho, I thought that was really fascinating.
I used a big yawn. Wow. Okay. I thought I
yeah, you can't yawn this podcast. We're gonna fall asleep, Paul. We can't get listeners if we're yawning.
Man, I am an old dad. This is how I am now. I was thinking about this the other day. I want to get back to this anti-work thing, but
go for it.
About how with all these, TikToks and Twitter and everything, I can only imagine like the stupid stuff my daughter's going to be making about me, like making fun of me snoring on the couch or something one day. Like all the stupid things I'll be a part of because of dad life. But hey, going back to the anti-work thing, I didn't know if it was going to go down the path of like literally a community who didn't want to work anymore. Like I thought would have been like because there are people who like they almost want to go back to like everyone has homesteads, and you just kind of work the land you have. So I thought that's how it was going to be, but apparently not.
Well, I think it's interesting that, I do think there are people out there who don't feel motivated to work and who don't like working. And I get that. I mean, but for me, like when there's jobs that I do that I absolutely love, and I love, like, I'm charged up, I go in and I have fun, and I have a good job with it. So for me, like, I can't imagine, the idea of, not wanting to work anything. Like, I don't know. It just, I can't imagine that lifestyle of like nothing excites you. Like there's no job out there.
Well,
Like you just want to stay home all day. And like, what would you do? I don't get it.
Unfortunately, I think it's just kind of a a result of what's going on. Like people are forced to work jobs they don't like. Mostly people who are, their passions are something that realistically, I guess in the world we have now won't get. Like what if you're a painter? That's your you love painting. You want to be, Bob Ross or something. That's what you love to do. No, but seriously, like that is your thing. You love to do it. You're never gonna get money as that. So you got to do these stupid jobs you hate. I'm in the same way. I would love to do nothing but just be holed up in a cabin somewhere, going nuts, writing novels or something like that. I would love to do that, but no, I can't do that.
Stealing my dream job, right? No, I totally.
So
get it.
I got to do
totally
something. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like, and everyone's kind of, oh man, I'm gonna go down. I'm this close to going down a really bad rabbit hole tangent.
No, feel free. I mean, I just wanted to talk. I thought this was a really interesting subreddit. So
okay, so I'm gonna kind of break the mold because I think you'll appreciate this, and I kind of want to see it.
Yeah.
What you think about this too? So it was late at night, and I was kind of going down the YouTube rabbit hole, and I came across a couple videos of people in, I think they were in London, somewhere in the UK, and they were guessing the prices of US healthcare bills. And so what they did was they covered up the pricing, like the pricing part of the bill, and had people like guess the prices of these and then total their amount at the bottom. And one person, it was for a C-section birth, and the total was like $80,000 or something like that. And the person in Britain, they're like, yeah, like ours would probably be like $1,000. Like that's what they told it.
Yeah, and actually, that's another post that was on the anti-work subreddit. Was, are you not having children because of the economy and because of where we're at and like where America's at? And I thought that was really interesting hearing that there are a lot of people out there who are like, listen, like I'd be open to kids. I wouldn't mind having kids, but like I don't want to bring kids up when I'm working 3 minimum wage jobs and barely cutting even as it is. It's so sad to think about that too. Like if you have to work 80 hours a week just to support a kid or two, you're never going to see your kid.
That's actually a funny discussion I had with someone who was older boomer, and they were upset because they're like, well, millennials don't want to have kids anymore. And I explained to them, I was like, well, you have to realize it's much more difficult now because, in the couple, but usually almost near, I'm going to say it always, both have to work because that's just how life is nowadays. And this person was like, well, the woman should stay home and take care of the kids. She shouldn't have to work. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You shouldn't, I guess, if you don't want to, but everyone has, like, we have to, literally you have to. And so that like there was a disconnect of like, why doesn't just one person stay home and watch the kids? Like, okay, because that's not reality anymore, and it hasn't been for quite some time. So I think, and there's obviously a huge, and I was reading stuff about it the other day about how there's a huge dip in births, and there's a really, really low birth rate right now in the United States, and everyone's like, it's because we literally can't afford to do it. And people are becoming more mindful of that. Like they cannot afford to do that. Tied with that, by the way. So just to show you that the boomers have screwed up everything, their divorce rate. Okay. This kind of, it was also attached to that article, was I think 68%, the boomers divorce rate. It's like around there, 68%. They let it. There's never been a generation in American history with a higher divorce rate than the boomers. All right. Millennials, where do you think they set it? Granted, the average,
like, isn't it 47, 49?
18%.
Really? Are you sure? I want to see this data. I would love to see this data.
The middle of the road was it Gen
X?
Gen X. And
you know what? I flipped in my head. I was thinking Gen X. So yeah, what's Gen X?
What is their rate?
Yeah, what's their rate?
50%. Then
that's okay. I was thinking Gen X. So I was in a way right, but also wrong. But wow, millennial. The shocking there is that millennials are 18. But yeah, I think people aren't. They've seen the trauma of divorced
Well,
families, right? And they're choosing to go about that. Go ahead.
There's a couple things into it. One, they actually said that was actually part of it. It says that millennials have seen more divorce in their parents than any other generation, literally ever. And so that scarred them, and they had to avoid that. But also, millennials are getting married later in life, meaning like late 20s, early 30s. But they're also cohabitating longer beforehand, which a lot of people contribute to a higher or a lower divorce rate. Like if you're living together longer and you figure it out, then when you get married, not much, you've already cohabitated.
No, so absolutely. And I would say that I don't want to sound judgmental, but I think any couple looking to marriage should probably cohabitate together. And it doesn't have to be a long time, but even like 3 to 6 months, because like, trust me, you do not want to be on the other side of that.
No.
Like, and I totally believe like, okay, like obviously like, sex does not mean that the relationship is going to be good or bad per se, right? Like you don't need to have sexual chemistry to have like a romance or a romantic connection or a soulmate connection, but cohabitation, absolutely.
That's
if you
almost
can't live with
than,
someone. Oh my God.
Hands together, that is almost bigger than the sexual aspect of it. Yeah. No joke. Like if you can't live with someone, nothing else matters. Like if you drive each other absolutely insane, or you can't figure out money, or you don't know, like you haven't talked about kids or anything like that, that's huge. But fun fact about this, boomers also have the highest second divorce rate of any generation ever. Oh. So now that we're getting divorced once, they're getting divorced twice.
It's really interesting, and like part of me wishes we had more data on like older generations. Like, is it just because of like the upswing of technology, or like we're living longer and so like we're regretting these decisions of like marriage and work? Like, I don't know. That's something that I've always found fascinating. Like, I don't know.
I could go really into this. Like seriously, you're digging a hole here. I don't know if you want to go down.
I'm like the Holes movie with what's his name? What's his name?
Oh God!
Oh, he got like locked up a couple times. Shia LaBeouf.
Wait, Shia LaBeouf got arrested?
Oh yeah, a few times. I can pull it up.
Really? For what?
I swear he did.
He probably did, but I don't remember. What was he gonna say? Oh,
here we go. Legal issues. 2014, LaBeouf was arrested at 54 Theater and charged with disorderly conduct, harassment, and criminal trespass. He pled guilty to disorderly conduct. 2017, arrested in downtown Savannah, Georgia for public intoxication, disorderly conduct, and obstruction. He was sentenced to probation for 1 year. 2020, September, charged with misdemeanor battery and petty theft. He pled not guilty. Charges were dropped if he completed a diversion program. And in December 2020, he was sued for sexual battery, assault, and infliction of emotional distress.
Oh, geez.
He took an acting and began receiving treatment. And he received a nomination for the Hall of Shame Award, which didn't know there was an award called the Hall of Shame Award. So, anywho, yeah, he is
he's a little
problematic, that's for sure. So, and that's your wait, are they a criminal minute sponsored by Kroger?
And I did Meyer, and I don't mean to be a boomer basher. I really don't, but and I guess I don't mean to be cynical, but screw it. I mean, it's true. When it's true, it's true. I just thought that was interesting that the divorce rate has tanked that much. I mean, that's stark. And I have a lot of I always get into arguments with boomers about politics. I don't know why I do this to myself. Honest to God, it is the dumbest thing I do, but it's like a weird addiction. So
yeah,
it's like watching those Karen pages on Reddit,
Another interesting post. There's a couple posts that I on this anti-work Reddit thread. Back to the topic, because we drift. We are the drifters of the ocean for sure.
Like a sailboat without steam.
A couple of these articles. It was so interesting. Like talk about how this one guy was doing 12-hour shifts 7 days a week as a pizza man delivery because there's no other pizza deliverers. And I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? Why? And then he got like a pay cut. They cut him down from like 6 to 4 or something. And then they were like, oh, but if anyone,
what do you mean 6 to 4?
$4 an hour?
That both of that's below minimum wage. How can you get?
I think it's a tip
because you're tipped.
But still, going down from 6 to 4. But then they said if anyone asks, he's being paid 6.
Just think about it. Are you serious? Well, just think about it. It is 2021. You're getting $4 an hour. Just think
But
about
like,
that.
here's my thing. Like, why wouldn't you walk away? Like, it's
Unless you don't
not
have an
like a
option.
job. Well, here's the thing. I'm sure. Well, he's busy working 12-hour days, but like, you're telling me there's no other pizza chains in the area or like restaurant work? You could bar back. You could, be a
See,
host
I never
somewhere.
I never really, fault someone for not leaving a job because they don't know the full story of why they can't. Maybe they can't go somewhere else, or it's a better situation for them.
Mhm.
With kids or something. I don't know. So I
I
never
just
really
can't
fault
imagine,
people
like
for that.
Paul. I can't imagine being like you have to come in every single day, 12-hour shifts. I can't imagine that.
And then they cut your pay.
And then they cut your pay.
I feel like pizza places too would be, well, maybe not. I don't know. Seems like everything.
And the sad part of that story was he literally was like burnt into an exhaustion. He fell asleep at the wheel and ended up in the emergency room. And then his boss was like, "Did you deliver the pizza?"
Are you surprised? I'm not surprised.
Like, yes and no. Like, I am not surprised that behavior exists, but like, I can't believe that would be someone's, intuition or thought process. So,
I've had managers like that, man. I've had some pretty terrible, terrible managers, and that's why I'm going to go there because you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, if you want to check it out, the Reddit anti-work thread, I think it's really interesting. If not for more of an insight on like what the common America worker is going through right now, and I mean, these kind of things really fascinate me, and I know that they kind of fascinate you too.
I love to read these things, but truthfully, they bum me out. But it's like I feel like I got to be active in this stuff, kind of fight the good fight. But at the same time, man, it can be like just sad, honestly.
Oh, big time. So, anyhow, well, I think that about wraps it up today. I know we wanted a quick chat. We got to figure out. I don't know about you, but I could go for another round of Hallmark movie or not. So
we got to do that again.
That was too fun. So next time,
especially since the new ones are rolling out now.
Oh, aren't they ever? Oh my gosh. I feel like we should almost do like an ad lib. What do you call those? Like word libs or like
no, Mad Libs. But I got an idea. I got a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
All right. This is what we're gonna do.
I'm
gonna say it right here. I don't care. It'll be great. Tease for next time. Let's give ourselves 4 minutes. Okay. In 4 minutes, we have to come up with front to back 2 minutes front to back of a Hallmark movie. You have 2 minutes to figure out.
Easy. Easy. I won't even need that.
As ridiculous as you can.
Oh, please. I can do that in my sleep. I could do
Why
that.
Why don't we do here? Let's do this next time. All right.
Okay. Next time.
We'll cut it out. We won't have the 2 minutes, but we give each other. So it's not 2 minutes of silence. Which was what these Hallmark movies. Maybe that's gonna be that's gonna be the title of mine. I just got it. 2 minutes of silence.
Oh my god.
So we'll drift parts for 2 minutes and come back and see what we have for each come up with one and see what we have.
I like it. Let's do it. Okay. Sounds like a plan. Well, thank you for listening as always, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.
Later.